A gentle somatic practice. This is a gentle somatic practice to help you feel more grounded within your own body. We'll begin with a soma scan, lengthening out both of the legs, making yourself as comfortable on the floor as you possibly can, allowing your body weight to sink down within the ground. Taking your time to adjust your posture in any way that would make you feel more comfortable. We'll begin to use this space to observe how the body feels right now, so we can return again at the end of the practice to compare and contrast any changes that have happened to your body along the way. Beginning at the feet, noticing the pressure of the heels as they rest on the floor, becoming conscious of the turning out of your feet, left and right. Noticing the spread of the calves as they touch the ground. And as we climb up through the body, the way the knees turn to one side or the other. Growing your awareness up towards the back of the pelvis now, noticing how it interfaces with the floor. Can you gain a sense of any tilt within the position of the pelvis? Growing from the pelvis, noticing the dive away from the ground in the lumbar arch. And the dive back towards the floor as the thoracic curve comes in between the shoulder blades. Being aware of the turning out of the shoulders and the weight of the arms. Noticing the curve at the back of the neck, as well as the position and weight of the head. Feeling your imprint sink into the floor. Filing all this information away and bending up the knees one by one, sliding until the feet come flat to the floor. Allow the feet to be neither too close nor too far away, so you can gently balance the pelvis. And just with a nice deep breath to begin with, feel that your inhale inflates the abdomen and the chest begins to open, and your exhale gently sinks the abdomen down into the support of the floor. Feeling that you can grow this rise and fall of the breath right down towards the hip joints. So you begin a gentle arch and flatten movement. Inhaling, rolling the tail away. Exhaling, gently flattening the back down towards the floor. Turning the back of the pelvis into a shape a little like a rocking chair, rolling forwards and back as easily and as lightly as possible. Allowing that movement to be controlled only by the movement of your breath. Can you notice how straight your arch and flatten can become? How smoothly. Ironing out any jumping, jerking, shaking movements. Allowing it to be a gentle glide and slide. Are you able to follow this arch and flatten movement from the pelvis into the rest of the spine as it all follows along with this gentle rocking? Are Are you able to notice there's a slight lift and lower of the chin? Or any movement within the chest and the shoulders? Keeping with that same focus on the breath and your arch and your flatten. When you are ready, you'll begin to lift the hands and interlock them behind the back of the head and allow the elbows to drop out to the sides. Finding a nice low position on the back of the skull, comfortably supporting the elbows left and right. We'll start just with the elbows to begin with. You're going to inhale and arch, and as you take that arch, you'll press the elbows down towards the floor. And rather than lifting, you're just going to exhale and soften the body. The elbows will naturally lift just a little. Inhaling and arching, pressing the elbows down towards the ground, sliding the shoulder blades together behind you. Exhale and slowly flattening, releasing in the elbows a little. Then once you feel that that movement has begun to edge into the body, whenever you are ready, you'll curl the elbows up, aiming them towards one another, bringing chin to chest to curl inwards towards center on your exhale, and then slowly, slowly unraveling the front of the body, dropping the elbows down, relaxing, then pressing them into the floor on the next inhale. And your exhale triggers this drawing elbow to elbow, chin to chest, curling into center as smoothly as you can, making it light and easy. Allowing the muscles to glide and move smoothly past one another. What would it be like if you could take this movement with the greatest sense of ease? How would it feel within your body? Still noticing that press as you come down to the floor, opening the chest as you arch. Consciously exhaling and flattening and watching that flatten grow elbow to elbow, chin to chest. And then when you come down the next time, releasing the hands from behind the back of the head. Turning everything off for a moment. Noticing how the shoulders feel. Is there a shift or change with their relationship to the floor? And whenever it is that you have noticed, whatever is all of yours to notice, gradually waking the body up a little, ready to roll over onto your side. Taking any support for your head that you might need. And then stacking the body up. Tail lined up with the back of the head. Knees bent up in a right angle from your hips and the feet traveling down from the knees. Making yourself as comfortable as you can in that straight line, and sometimes lining yourself up with the back of your mat is the most useful way of doing this. We're going to do a side lift. So bringing your top hand and placing it on the top of your head or even over or to cup your ear. We're going to begin just by opening the top side body. So as you inhale, feel your side body reach and lengthen. The armpit moves away from the hip joint. And as you exhale, you'll just soften where you are. So just that tiny movement to lengthen in the top side body as you inhale. You'll find a gap will appear on your bottom side body between your body and the floor. And as you exhale, sinking back into that space again. Moving your hip away from your armpit as you inhale. And then softening back as you exhale. Lifting the top foot and the top head on this reap round. Exhaling, slowly lowering down. So your inhale lengthens the top side body. As you exhale, you'll keep your knees joined together, lifting the top foot, keeping the head heavy in the hand as you lift and shorten your top side waist. And slowly, slowly lower down. Feeling as though it's your side waist that coordinates the lift and the lower of the rest of the body. Nice, smooth, fluid movement. Making this your last one, slowly, slowly coming down. As you reach down, you'll lengthen out your top arm and your top leg for a full reach long. Keep the reach and then release and relax, coming back to center. Bringing your top hand on top of your palm on palm to roll your top hand forward now. Sliding the top hand forward with the bottom hand. And then gradually you'll start to roll the body back. So rolling forwards and back towards the forehead as you come forwards. Slowly edging your body back. Bit by bit. So gradually making the journey further back each time. Reaching forward each time you come to forward. And eventually, over a series of different rounds, you'll aim your top shoulder down towards the floor. This may take longer some days than others, some shoulders than others. And when eventually that shoulder is happily able to reach the ground, you can unravel that top arm all the way open, taking as much time as you need to get to that point. Enjoying, luxuriating in the rolling back and forth. Your body weight yield to the weight, sinking into the floor. Then resting palm on palm again, just for a moment. And then when you're ready, you'll take your top hand in a diagonal in line with your nose, matching that diagonal with your top leg. Reaching with the top arm and the top leg will take a propeller movement. So as the top arm swings backwards, the top leg will come forwards, keeping a straight line as it does so. How big the movement is entirely up to you. However, you'll feel the length all the way from the waist, spreading out to the tips of the toes and the tips of the fingers, swinging forwards and back, feeling that you can take up as much space as possible, elegantly moving back and forth, keeping your hand and your toe as low to the ground as you're able. And when you have made yourself as big a circle as you can, fingertip to tip of toes, you can rest the body back where you started and pause for a moment, settling in your own time, taking a moment to feel the movement settle, and you can rest. And then whenever you're ready, we'll swap over to the other side. So again, taking any support for your head, coming over onto your other side, stacking up in that same position, aiming the back of the head in line with the tail, knees bent up in a right angle, comfortably on the shoulder with your palm out ahead. Once you've found that comfortable position in your body, we'll travel that top hand all the way up to rest, either on the top of the head or cupping the bottom ear. We'll start that lengthening movement in the side body. So noticing on your inhale how the rib cage expands like a concertina and you reach your hip and your armpit away from one another. And as you exhale, settling back to neutral. Inhale, the side body reaches long. As you exhale, slowly softening down. Becoming aware of the space that appears between your body and the floor as you inhale and your side body lengthens. And as you exhale, closing that space, yielding back to the floor. And then whenever you feel comfortable and you've opened up that side body, in your own time, keeping the knees clamped, you'll lift the top foot, the head and the hand and the elbow, shortening your top side waist before slowly lowering back down. Once you're down, you'll inhale, lengthen that top side waist. Exhale. You shorten. This gathers everything on the top side in, lifting the foot, aiming the ankles to stay above one another as you clamp the knees together. It can be useful to practice this against a wall to maintain a level of head to tail relationship as you lift and lower. Keeping the head heavy in the hand. Noticing how smooth and easy it is on this side compared to the other. And then whenever you are ready, you finished your last one, you'll lengthen out the top arm and the top leg, diagonally reaching before softening and coming back to a nice rested neutral position. Turning everything off for just a moment before sliding the top hand forwards of the bottom hand. And we'll begin that shoulder rolling movement back and forth. So again, we'll edge carefully the shoulder down towards the floor over several repetitions, rolling towards the forehead and gently edging back a little more each time. You may find this side different to roll out than the other. It may be easier, or it may take a few more passes before you can roll that top shoulder all the way down towards the floor. And without hurrying, just taking your time to slowly encourage that top shoulder to reach the ground each time you roll back. And when you do, you can unravel that top arm before raveling it all the way through center and back. Making it easy and lazy and smooth. Yielding your weight each time you roll back and forth, softening into the floor, softening back to center when you finish the one that you're on, just resting for a moment. Within that rest, surfing on the stillness after all that movement, line the body up in that diagonal line. So bringing the top arm in diagonal line with your nose, matching the top leg with the arm, and then reaching all the way through. The top arm slides back, the top leg slides forwards in that pendulum motion. Keeping the reach and keeping the reach all the way through your side body. Drawing a circle from fingertip to fingertip, reaching out, lengthening your side waist. Keeping a nice, fluid, smooth movement. Keeping the toes low and the fingertips trailing. Actively becoming longer with each round that you take. Resting whenever you are ready. To that still point, knee on knee and palm on palm again. Turning everything off for a moment. And in your own time, you'll come back over to lying on your backs. So coming down to the floor, making any movements on the way to the floor that you need to make. Resting with the knees bent. Taking the feet are neither too close nor too far away. Settling the weight of the body down into the floor. When you've made yourself as comfortable as you can, we'll return back to our arch and flatten movement. So noticing as you take a deep breath in now, the rolling of the tail away and down to the floor. For exhaling, flattening the lower back, smoothly transitioning between your arch and your flatten. Noticing if there is any extra ease in your ability to move between inhale and exhale, how straight your arch and flatten feels. Can you iron out, or have you ironed out, any jumping or jerking or shaking movements? Keeping it light and easy. Whenever you've noticed what's yours to notice, you can feel free in your own time to lengthen out both of the legs, softening your body weight down into the floor, turning off everything that you have to turn off. Feeling the floor take hold of your weight and rise up to meet you. We'll turn our attention to where we started. So noticing from the backs of the heels how they interface with the floor. Can you recall back to our first impression when you first laid down? How the feet turned out, left and right. Are you able to notice any shift or change in the position of the legs? Becoming aware of the position of the pelvis, the curves of the spine. Noticing the way the shoulders press into the floor and the weight of the arms extend out towards the fingers. Before turning off all of the conscious thoughts, returning just to the movement of the breath. Settling the weight of the mind into the ground. Beginning to take a few deeper breaths now. Noticing the way those deeper breaths encourage a sense of movement in the fingers. Feeling that inhale encourage more movement in the hands and the feet. Slowly waking the body up from the edges towards the center. Adjusting and shifting in your posture in any way you need to. Transitioning from rest to movement in a way that feels kind.